Hi, this is Matt with AppliancePartsPros.com. Today we'll be showing you how to repair your appliance. Remember, anytime you work on an appliance, make sure it's unplugged or the circuit breakers are off so there's no chance of electrocution. Also make sure you turn off the dishwasher's water supply underneath the sink. In this video we're going to show you how to change out the Whirlpool dishwasher circulation pump and motor assembly. It's going to be a very easy repair and should only take a few minutes to show you how to do it. If you already have one of these, great. If not, you can click on the link below or get it at AppliancePartsPros.com. When you open up the package, you're going to get the new circulation pump and motor assembly. The circulation pump and motor assembly is what pumps the water through the dishwasher to clean the dishes. The main reason you'd be changing it out is if the pump body is cracked or damaged, or you just want to change out the whole assembly instead of trying to fix the old one. In order to change the part, we have to open up the dishwasher door. Then we can pull the lower rack out and set it aside. First thing we're going to do is pull out the upper rack a little bit and then reach in with our Phillips screwdriver. There's a screw that holds the water supply tube to the back wall. We're going to take out the screw so it makes it easier to take the fitting off the pump. When you're taking the screw out, you want to be careful you don't drop it into the pump. Now we can remove the lower spray arm. All you have to do is grab the screw and turn it clockwise. It's reverse thread. Once you get it started, you can just turn it by hand and lift the spray arm out. In order to get this water supply tube out, we're going to lift up on the locking tab with a flathead screwdriver and turn this whole assembly clockwise so the water tube comes out. And then you can lift this assembly off. Now we can lift out the spray arm support. Make sure you don't lose the little bearing. We're going to have to put that into the new pump. Now that we have everything out from the inside of the dishwasher, we can use our Phillips screwdriver and take the screws out that hold it to the cabinet. Now that we have those out, we can go underneath the sink and disconnect the lines. First thing we're going to do is remove your dishwasher drain line, follow it up to wherever it goes and remove the clamp. We're going to use a 5/16 on ours. Make sure that when you take these off, that you have some towels around. Both the water line and the drain line might put some water out. Next thing we have to do is remove the fill line. It's usually connected to the hot water tap, and of course we already had that shut off and the power disconnected from earlier. But now we need to remove the line, and we can take it off with a 5/8 inch wrench. Now that we have everything disconnected underneath the sink, we can come over and lift up on the dishwasher door, and we're going to use that to very carefully pull the dishwasher out. Once you get it to where you can grab the frame, you can pull it the rest of the way out. Now that we have the dishwasher pulled out, we're going to close the door and make sure that the hoses and everything are clear underneath, and then we can tilt it onto its back so we can pull the pump and motor out. Now that we have access to the bottom of the machine, first thing we're going to do is remove the electrical plug from the motor. There's tabs on each side. All you have to do is press them in to release them, and then you can pull the wire connector off. Next, we're going to remove the sensor. All you have to do is turn this counterclockwise to remove it. Once you turn it till it stops, then you can just pull it out. When you have this out, you might as well clean it up and get all the gunk off of it, so when we put it back in, it's nice and clean. Next, we can remove the drain line. All you have to do is take your pliers and move the clamp up so we can take it off the body. Now that we have the clamp out of the way, you may want to put a towel down just in case any water comes out. We can pull the drain line off and swing it out of the way. Next, we can remove the wire harness from the drain pump. There's a little tab right here on the bottom that you have to press to release. Once you have it pressed, then you can pull the wire connector out and set it aside. Then we can take the drain pump out. There's a little release lever right here in the back. All you have to do is press that down and rotate the drain pump so you can take it off. Once you have it off, we can just set it aside. Now that we have everything removed from the pump and motor assembly, there's 3 locking tabs that hold it into the tub. We're going to pull those 3 out so we can put the dishwasher back on its feet and remove the pump from the inside. To remove the locking tabs, all you have to do is wiggle them out and set them aside. Now that we have everything disconnected from the circulation pump and motor assembly, you want to very carefully push it into the dishwasher to break this seal between the tub and the pump. That way when you go inside, all you have to do is lift it out and it won't be jammed in there. With everything disconnected from the pump underneath, we can set the dishwasher back up on its feet. And we're going to slide it back underneath the counter just a little bit, so when we open the door and try to pull the pump out, we don't tip it over. Now that we have the dishwasher underneath the cabinet, we can safely open up the door and reach in and pull the pump and motor assembly out. Since we broke it free, it's going to be pretty easy. All you have to do is lift up on the front and guide it out. Now that you have the pump and motor assembly out, you want to make sure you clean this area off so when we put the new one in, you get a good seal. Here's the old circulation pump and motor assembly next to the new one. If you already have one of these, great. If not, you can get it at appliancepartspros.com. Before we put the pump and motor into the dishwasher, you want to get the edge of the seal really wet with a wet sponge so that when you push it down into the tub, it seats far enough so we can get those retaining tabs in the bottom. Also run the sponge around the lip in the tub to make sure it's nice and wet too, so the pump can slide in there. You want to make sure that you go around the whole pump and push it down as far as you can into the tub. If you don't get it seated all the way down, you won't be able to get the locking tabs in on the bottom side. Now we can close the dishwasher door and pull the dishwasher out so we can flip it on its back, then we can hook up everything underneath. To flip the dishwasher onto its back, we're going to make sure the hoses and everything are clear in the back, and then get somebody to help you if you need to, and very carefully lay it onto its back. Now that we have the dishwasher on its back, we can put in the retainers. All we have to do is line them up and push them into their holes. Remember, if you can't get it in or it's super tight, you may have to go back inside and push down on it. They should slide in fairly easy. Now that we have all three of them in, we're going to put the drain pump back in. To put the drain pump in, first thing we're going to do is reconnect the electrical connection. All you have to do is push it in so it locks in with the locking tab. And then you can rotate the pump motor around so the locking tab here is at 12 o'clock. And once you have it pushed in, then you can rotate it back so it locks into place. Then we can put back on the drain hose. All you have to do is push it down onto the pump fitting. Once you have it on, we can grab the clamp with our pliers and move it back down into position. Then we can go down and put our sensor back in. Remember, all you have to do is push it in and turn it clockwise to tighten it down to lock it into place. The last thing we have to do is connect the wire harness to the motor, and all we have to do is plug that in so it locks into place. Now we can very carefully put the dishwasher back up on its feet. Remember, if you need to, get somebody to help you. Once we have it up, we can slide it back and put it back into the cabinet. First thing we need to do is put the lines back through the cabinet. We want to push the dishwasher in about halfway and then go underneath the sink and pull on the hoses to make sure that they're not kinked or caught on anything underneath. We can push it back into the counter. Now that we have the dishwasher pushed back into the cabinet, we can open up the door and replace the screws that hold it to the cabinet. Now that we have the screws in, we can go underneath the cabinets and reconnect the lines. So we're going to hook up the water line and use our 5/8 inch wrench to tighten it down. Then we can hook up the drain line back up to the air gap. All you have to do is push it on and tighten down the clamp using your 5/16 nut driver or screwdriver. Now that we have everything reconnected underneath the sink, we can put in the rest of the parts in the bottom of the dishwasher. First, we're going to put in the spray arm support and the bearing in. And we're going to put on the water feed tube. All you have to do is set it down and lock it into place. To reconnect the water line in the back, you want to line these two up and turn them together at the same time. You may have to pull your upper rack out a little bit, but all you have to do is swing it over so they lock in. Once you have it all the way in, we can put the lower spray arm back on. When you set the spray arm in, you want to make sure that the support is loose. All you have to do is set the spray arm down onto it and line up the starting of the threads with this little cutout. Then you can grab the support and turn it so it goes and starts threading down onto the wash arm. Now that we have that installed, we can put the screw in on the back wall. To have access to this hole right here, you're going to have to pull the upper rack out and reach underneath it. You also want to be very careful that you don't drop this screw down into your new pump, otherwise you're going to have to fish it out. Now that we have the water supply line secure, we can put the lower dish rack back in. To put the lower rack back in, all you have to do is set it on the door and push it back on its rails. Once you have it all the way in, you can close the door. Now that you're done repairing the appliance, you can plug it back in, turn the water back on, and take it for a spin. Thanks for joining us for another successful repair brought to you by AppliancePartsPros.com. Check out our other repair videos on our site, Facebook, and YouTube.